Everybody wants the soft life, but what they don't realize is that it takes work. It's not just something that happens overnight. It's not just something that happens magically. It's not just something that happens through manifestation or getting married or any of these things. So in this video, I'm going to highlight 5 soft life finance tips that every woman should know. It doesn't matter if you're married, single, partnered, housewife, single, stay-at-home mom, all of that. It doesn't matter, okay? The reality is that it takes work, and there are a lot of things that we're not doing that we can start doing to get closer to that vision that we have for our lives. So before we get into it, hey girl, hey, or hey boy, hey, because there are some guys that watch my channel. My name is Jocelyn, and I'm the founder of Maximize Money, where I teach 9-to-5 earning women how to create their dream lives with their 9-to-5 income. So what I don't want us doing is going into debt for this soft life. Instead, using the income that we have to do the things, to enjoy the experiences that we love and deserve, okay? So let's get into it. The number one thing that you're not doing that you need to start doing in order to live that soft life is to release control, okay? And this is coming from a former recovering, controller of outcomes, of, overthinking, of overextending herself, of feeling like I needed to have my hand in every single thing. And that is not realistic, okay? Because you have so many other things that we are responsible for, from working full time. Some of us have kids, some of us are married, some of us are daughters, some of us are aunties. Like, the last thing we should be doing when it comes to our money is stressing over it and trying to force outcomes, So one thing that I recommend you do is to embrace ease. That's the number one tip, soft life finance tip that every woman should know, and that is truly to embrace ease. And by doing that, you are going to allow yourself to only focus on the things that matter. You can't be everything to everybody, baby. You can't. You just cannot. And again, the last thing I want us doing is stressing over what our money should be doing, stressing over how we should spend our time, stressing over making outcomes happen that just aren't naturally meant to happen. And it's so funny, and I'm going to tell a little bit of my business here, with my job in particular. And I'm thankful for my job. Let's be clear, it has allowed me to do many things, but I remember there was a season in my life where I was trying to truly force an outcome, and that outcome was getting a promotion. I felt like I had done the work. I had been carrying the loads of other people that have moved on with their careers. And I just was like, well, what the heck? I'm tired of trying to reach these goals, setting the goals, losing, supervisor, getting moved to this team, moving to that team. And I was just like, what the heck? I'm over it. But it took me so long to get to that because I was trying to force that outcome, And so instead I released it. And I was like, you know what, God, clearly this is not meant to be for me right now or ever, but I'm going to trust that you're going to get me to where I need to be, whether that's in this company or doing whatever else. And so over the time, I realized that God didn't bless me with that role, because I know that I'm serious about Maximize Money. Because you're watching this video, I am serious about my business. And I know that if I would have gotten that promotion, I would have put more effort towards the new level of leadership that I will be stepping into, which means that less time will be taken away from my business. Less time will be taken away from my clients. Less time will be taken away from, really growing Maximize Money to what I desire it to be. And granted, I have a long roadmap, okay? I'm not where I want to be, but I've seen so much improvement with how I show up. I've seen improvement with my content. I've seen improvement with the community that I'm building. And I can only imagine if I would have truly stepped into that thing that I have been begging for. I can only imagine where I would be mentally, emotionally, financially. Yes, I would have gotten more money, more responsibility would have been earned, but I would have lost in another area, which is obviously my business. And so when you really step back and let God really connect the dots and truly order your steps, you start to realize okay, that worked out the way it was supposed to. And so I'm going to embrace ease. I'm going to embrace what God wants me to do in this season, and that is focus on the business. I can't focus on everything, because if you are, what is it they say, there's a jack of all trades and a Jill of all trades and a master of none. That's not what I want to do. I'm about to be the personal finance girl, personal finance go-to for my 9-to-5 earning women, okay? I'm not looking to be a CMO at a company. I'm not looking to be the VP of anything. I want to maximize money to become a household name for all things money when it comes to 9-to-5 earning women. And so that is the space that I'm cultivating online and offline, and that is the focus. And so again, I want you to embrace ease. And again, do this instead. I want you to write an affirmation and visit it often until it becomes a habit. That's a trick that I use. That's a trick that I share with my clients, and it be working, y'all, okay? And if you want to hear mine, because I have memorized it, okay? It's literally on my wall, and it's something that I say over and over until I feel like I believe it, because I still be having my moments where I be like, ugh! But then I'm like, you know what, God? Nope. God has me exactly where I need to be. I'm exactly where I need to be. Ease, flow, and alignment. You don't have to force, control, overthink, or overextend yourself for anything or anybody. And I'm not just taking that with me on my job. I'm taking that into every other season of my life, every other focus on my life, my family, my friends, my career, my business, my health, relationships, all the things, my goals. You feel me? So write an affirmation down and say it consistently until you start to let it marinate in your mind, and you let that be the default whenever something tries to, bring you back to, trying to control and manipulate and do all that stuff that's just not natural to who we are, especially as believers. And if you're a believer in God, then you truly need to release control and let him order your steps, okay? So that's point one. Another thing that we are not doing as it relates to soft life is living intentionally. We are so inundated with everybody's lives, especially on social media. Like, you see everybody's highlight reel. You see them on their vacations. You see them, with all the latest shoes, all the bags, a whole, slew of perfume on their dresser. And it's just like, you start to feel like, oh, shoot, well, maybe I should have this. Maybe I should have that. And if you are not clear on who you are going to be so inundated with what everybody else is doing. You're going to sway with wherever the wind is blowing, whatever's hot in the moment. And then you end up spending money that doesn't even truly align with the things that align with your values. And so what I want you to do instead is to get clear on your values. I call them core values. My business coach, shout out to you, Jakaya, she calls it core values as well. And we have to have them. Now, we had them she made us write them for our life. Or did she have them write them for our business? She had us write them for our business, but I have taken it a step further and wrote them for my life. And so one of the things that matters to me is experiences and being able to collect bucket list experiences. I call it bucket list living. It's so funny. Last year I was in Colombia around this same time, and I was at this concert. It was the guy was a Colombian burner boy. He had locks, he was chocolate. And he was on stage going in, and I didn't know what he was saying because he spoke in Spanish, and I'm not fluent, but I was just like, this is bucket list living. I'm in Colombia for a couple of weeks just living, and I met these people at a language exchange night, and they invited me to this concert, this free concert where there's a Colombian version of Burna Boy, and the people are going in, they going in. And in that moment, I just felt so thankful because it's I could have spent that money, because I saved to be able to live abroad, for that time frame. But imagine if I just would have got the new wig that was being promoted. Imagine if I just would have got all this other stuff that influences, and no shade to them, okay? Because I know that in a way I influence people, but I influence people to be better managers of their money. I'm not influencing you to spend money all willy-nilly, but imagine if I just would have went with whatever was hot in the moment and not been able to experience that bucket list living experience. And so once you get clear on your core values, and for me it's being able to collect and create luxury experiences that are affordable for myself and for my community and for my homegirls, my family, everybody, you start to move different, and it's easier to say no to the things that do not align, because you're still going to be influenced. You're still going to want to do things. Your friends are going to persuade you. Your family's going to persuade you. I literally just got a text from my mom last night talking about I should freeze my eggs. And I'm like, girl, how many times have I told you? Kids and me are not a thing. And I'm never going to say never, but that's just not what I focused on. So why would I save money to do these things that I don't even desire for myself just because you want to have some grandkids? Baby, if you don't go hang out with the ones you already got, baby. I'm not the one. Get somebody else to do it, as I like to say. Okay, so again, get clear on your core values and write them down, like write them down and revisit them before you make decisions throughout your life. That is a soft life finance tip that every girl should know, is to live intentionally. A lot of us are not living intentionally, and I want us to do better. Point 3, as it relates to what we are not doing, as it relates to a soft life, is we are living above our means, y'all. We are living above our means. And this is not good, okay? As someone who used to overspend on trips, on happy hour, again, I've been in experiences, girl, okay? I just couldn't afford it back then. And I didn't have no savings. I wasn't investing. Like, God forbid I would have gotten laid off back then. I don't know what I would have been doing, because I didn't really have no cushion for nothing, okay? And the thing about life is that it's gonna life. As my granny would say, like, just keep living. Because some stuff she would say, some stuff my mom would say, and I just would be like, I don't understand how that. And they'll be like, just keep living. And that's what I want to tell you as someone who has been laid off from a job, before, not now, as someone who has willingly quit a job because of mental health, as someone who essentially just couldn't survive on her savings. Like, I have been through many humbling life experiences, and one thing that I always emphasize to my clients is to have some money set aside, y'all. Like, I cannot emphasize it enough. It gives you so much peace of mind to know that you have money in case life, in case the car breaks down, in case something breaks down in the house, in case there's a medical emergency. Having money set aside helps. It gives you a peace of mind. You can rest that night. Like, I know what it's like to not be able to get sleep, to be tossing and turning because your money is not right, and you want to do better, but you don't know where to start, And so having your bills paid, having your savings in a bank, having your money growing for you without you having to trade your time for it is a secret hack that the rich do not want you to know, baby. And the more that you get deeper into debt, the more that you are starting to pay somebody else's passive income. That interest is somebody else's money that you're freely giving to somebody else because you are carrying this debt. Now, I'm not talking about student loan debt, even though you should pay that off, but really what I'm talking to is the Neiman Marcus debt, the Affirm and the buy now and pay later and all these other credit cards that aren't doing nothing for you but forcing you to pay interest because of the balance that you're carrying on it. So for me, I do use credit cards, baby. I am earning points, earning miles kind of girl, but I don't buy anything that I don't have money for set aside already, So that's something I want you to think about. And instead, I want you to operate, your spending based on what you value, which is why I talked about core values just then. But I want you to make it tangible and put all that on a spending plan. And I have a free one that is available to download in the description. And all it takes is 1 hour. I like to tell my clients, set aside that 1 hour every month and have a money day. I want you to pull out all of your credit card statements, your bank statements from the last month, anything that you are using on a regular basis to pay bills. I want you to, download all of those. All of them should be free online via your banks and stuff like that. And really log in what you spent over that month so that you can understand where the money went, where you overspent, where you underspent, and what you can do to adjust moving forward. And so I personally use my own freaking spending plan, okay? My clients use it. It is free to download. My greater community is using it, and I want you to use it too. And everything is on there. It's not just, rent and utilities. There's room for enjoyment. Again, I'm a collector of experiences. I'm a creator of experiences. So I'm going to ensure that there is room for fun, okay? But there's also going to be investing set aside. I'm investing in my Roth. I'm investing in my 401k. I'm investing in my future because I don't want to work forever, okay? I know y'all probably got coworkers that are in their 60s still working, and no shade if you are in your 60s still working watching this video, because you can still make changes as well. There is no age limit on getting better financially, and that's why I'm so passionate about us doing better with what we have, because however you manage your $60,000 is how you're gonna manage $100,000, and how you're gonna manage $200,000. So it's important that we become managers of our money and confidently know what's happening with it so that we can do better. We can move better and we can live below our means. The goal should be to live below your means, which means that you assign your money a responsibility and you're not spending money that you don't have. The goal isn't to keep our accounts in negative. We should have a surplus. We should have an overflow. God wants the overflow for us, but he can't bless us with more if we're not a good steward over what we have. And that's something that I say to myself all the time too, okay? All the time. I'm not just telling you, I'm telling myself. Because I used to be begging God for stuff, and now I'm like, listen, God, if it's in your will, and I hope that the fruit of my life and the way that I'm living is acceptable to you. And if it's not, then you have full reign to make adjustments as you see fit, okay? So that's another point as it relates to soft life financial tips that every woman should know. Another thing is, sorry y'all, I'm going in on this. I have 2 more though. Another soft life finance tip that everyone should know that you're not doing is that you are not automating the things that matter, automating your goals, okay? And what I mean by that is that the things that matter to you should be prioritized when it comes to your money. So that can be your savings. Again, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to have a savings. It's so important. It's so funny. I was talking to one of my girls who we met online, but we offline friends in real life now. Shout out to UK. She and I were talking about how our mini-me's be begging us for money. Like, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? And her little sister had asked her for $100, and she was like, no. I was like, did you give it to her? She was like, no. I didn't give it to her because I have been telling her to save, and I don't want her to think that I'm going to always be bailing her out when ish hits the fan. Like, ish is going to hit the fan, and you should learn from me on when ish hit the fan and I didn't have it together. Like, you have to prioritize the things that matter. And when you feel like, oh, I do this, I do that, I'm always going to have money coming in, don't believe that, okay? If the pandemic hasn't taught you anything, if I haven't taught you anything, is that all this stuff is fleeting, okay? So it's imperative that you have savings, that you're putting money in your emergency fund for lifing. Again, that could be a car breakdown, that can be a medical bill, that can be some unexpected expense. You know, for me, I save for all types of stuff. I just paid my gym bill. I'm gonna have to pay off my HOA soon. I'm gonna have to pay off probably, hopefully not, Lord Jesus, a portion of my property taxes. I'm praying that they stay the same. They didn't increase last year, so I'm hoping they didn't increase. But anyway, I save for everything because life be lifing and it be unexpected expenses, and I want you to do the same. So savings, even if you don't think it's important, baby, it's important, okay? It is important. Savings, save, and put your money in a high yield savings account. I have so many videos on my channel about that because it allows you to earn more money for doing nothing. You know, like, it's the bank essentially paying you interest to hold your money because the bank is using our money whether you realize it or not. So you might as well be earning some money on it. The same way you pay interest on your car note, your student loans, your credit card, if you carry a balance, is the same way that they pay you with the high yield savings account. And Marcus is my go-to, Marcus by Goldman Sachs. That is linked in the description. And if you use my code, you get a higher percentage of interest back. Essentially, it's called an APY, annual percentage yield. I'm going to pop a video on the screen so that you can go watch that. I don't want to spend too much time talking about high yield savings accounts, but it's a default. It's a default for all my clients. It's a default for me. I automate my savings. You know, from my job, I can go into my little HR portal, and instead of sending everything to my checking account, I have some money going to my 401k. I have some money more going to my my high yield savings account, and then the rest is going to my checking. And so, like, you can make these adjustments, baby. You just got to be willing to do it. I also am big on investing because, again, I don't want to work forever. I want work to be optional sooner than later. And that's not to say I'm gonna quit my job or anything, because I got my own little personal goals I had to hit before I could freely walk away from corporate America. But until then, baby, I'm gonna show up every day happy with a smile on my face, contributing and adding value, okay? I don't want to be without a job. I could give you all the game in the world, but baby, I don't love my job, but I'm thankful for my job, okay? So I use my job to create the dream life that I desire, and I help my clients do the same. And so, you know, if you want to buy a house, if you want to buy a car, if you want to take trips more, you know, like, putting money aside and automating it from the very beginning is going to help those things become more of a reality. So hopefully that helps. And then the last point is to get rid of consumer debt. This is a soft life finance tip that the rich don't want you to know, baby. I'm telling you, it is so much easier to be delusional than it is to accept reality of your finances. And it's so funny because I saw that quote when I was looking at, like, Love is Blind. I don't know. Comment below if you're watching the latest season of Love is Blind DC Child. It is a hot mess. I want Ashley, girl, blink twice if you on the struggle bus and you need help to get out, girl, because Tyler truly like did a number on her. He did a number on her, and I pray that she can walk away without losing money, baby. But it is easier to be delusional than it is to accept reality of this man and his 3 kids that he lied to you about, and all these evictions and all this other stuff. But this is not a Love is Blind channel, but that just really pissed me off. So I'm like, listen, get rid of this debt, because you are paying somebody else. You are giving somebody else money by not getting more diligent with paying off your debt. And I mean consumer debt specifically, because we are carrying a lot of credit card debt. We are carrying retail debt. We are carrying travel debt. And I don't want that for us, because you are paying interest, and that interest is going to somebody's pocket to live the life that you desire to live. And I hate to see it for us. I'm telling you, I hate to see it for us. And so a soft life finance tip that every woman should know is that you need to prioritize paying down and paying off your student loan, your consumer debt. And I have so many videos about, paying off debt versus saving. I have videos on how I paid off over $80,000 in debt, and all of those will be linked in the description. But the one that I really want you to highlight or watch next is my debt-free, paying off over the $80,000 in debt, and some of the things that work for me. So hopefully you get inspiration. But one thing that I'm going to be doing moving forward is I will be launching a debt-free challenge where I will help you. It's going to be community-based. It's not one-on-one, but like you're going to join an intentional community of people that want to pay off their first $1,000 in debt, or $1,000 in debt. It may not be their first $1,000, but the goal is to pay off $1,000 in 90 days. And it's going to be intense, okay? It's going to be intense, but if you do the work, then you're going to get as close to the goal as possible. Now granted, your income and all that stuff comes into play, but like you will end the challenge having paid off more than what you started with, and that'll be launching soon. But in the meantime, if you want to learn more and get on the early access list so that you can get alerted when it launches, that is going to be linked in the description, because this debt is holding us hostage, and I'm sick of it. I don't want this for me. I don't want this for you. I don't want this for the girlies. I really don't. And I'm going to show you how to use your 9-to-5 income to pay off this debt, so that you have more money to do the things that matter, to save, to go out to dinner, and not stress over whether you have to choose. Once it's gone, it's like you've unofficially given yourself a raise. And that's how I felt when I paid off my debt. And to know that the only debt that I have right now is this house is a good feeling, okay? And imagine when I get rid of this, y'all ain't gonna be to tell me nothing. I might disappear. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna disappear. But y'all, I'm gonna be doing the most. I'm gonna be doing the most when this mortgage is paid off. Y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing. And that's how I want us all to feel. I want you to be able to chuck the deuces from a horrible relationship. I want you to be able to chuck the deuces from a job that's draining your mental health. I want you to be able to chuck the deuces to any environment that's not conducive to the woman that you're becoming and the woman that you desire to be, okay? Friendships included, lovers included, jobs included, because a lot of times, especially as women, we are forced to stay in environments that don't serve us because we haven't done the work mentally, emotionally, financially to move on to better. And that's what I want for us. At the core of all of this is being able to live your dream life and be in environments that support you, that enhance you. And money is a necessary tool in a lot of that, okay? So hopefully these soft life finance tips that every woman should know helps you. If you have some other ones that you'd like to add, please put them in the comment section below. Let me know which one of these most resonated with you, and please like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. I'm really trying to grow my channel. I got big goals for y'all. I got big goals for me, baby. And I just want us to be able to comfortably and confidently live the soft life, to live the luxury life. I actually want more of a luxury life than a soft life. Because the soft life can't even happen unless you're willing to do the work. You got to live intentional. You got to embrace ease. You got to live below your means. You got to automate your goals. You got to get rid of unnecessary debt. And that's what people don't say. You see all the little end results of soft life, but you don't see the work that it takes to actually maintain it, and not have to lay up on nobody you want to be scamming and scheming, baby. Everything I talk about on here, I can back up. I got receipts for everything through my clients or through my own experiences. And so I just want us to live better. I want us to live more intentionally, and I want us to be reminded that we can live our dream lives with the income that we already have, and that it's so important to be a good steward over what you have so that God can bless you with more when he feels like you're ready. And be open to whatever that more is. It may not be financially, but it may be a new client. It may be a new opportunity, you know? So that's it, y'all. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.